I'm Riley,
And I'm Ronnie,
and this is the Plan to Eat podcast.
where we have conversations about meal planning, food, and wellness to help you answer the question, what's for dinner? Hello, and welcome to the Plan to Eat podcast. Today, we are talking about decluttering your kitchen. This might seem like the time of year when you do not want to be thinking about decluttering your kitchen, but we actually think that there is an argument to be made for doing some decluttering and some kitchen cleaning just before the holidays and to kind of make some extra space, simplify things, reduce some stress. So we're not trying to stress you out right now. We're trying to help reduce the stress.
Yeah, and I think everything we're going to talk to you about and like how we think you should do this, I think will really fit in with just like a really like simple, it's not just like fit in with your life. It's not spring cleaning. It's not take a week out of your life and do your whole house. Nothing like that. It's a lot simpler. And yeah, like Ronnie said, it's just about reducing your stress and honestly making the season feel more comfortable.
Yeah, because coming out of Thanksgiving, going into Christmas and like other end of the year holidays, like there's just an influx of things into our life, whether it's food or gifts from other people, people come into our house. There's just a lot of things that can be happening and it can feel really overwhelming. So this is kind of like trying to simplify at the beginning of the month before all of that chaos starts.
Yeah, I mean, even think like people, we're about to put up Christmas trees and Christmas decor or other seasonal decor. And it's just like you add a lot of stuff in
Yes.
that. And I mean,
Yeah, because who takes things away when they add Christmas things, right? Like you rarely are ever taking things away. You're just adding things
Yeah.
with all the other stuff you normally have.
I'm even thinking about where I'm keeping all the Christmas gifts from my family. And I'm like, even just like I've got like a pile, like a bag in my closet that just keeps getting things added to it.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of things added this season. So this is to try to help you feel a little better in other areas of your life.
Yes. So I think the first place we want to start with this is meal planning. And one of our biggest tips for meal planning is going to be to meal plan around what you already have. So like take an inventory of what's in your fridge, what's in your pantry, what's in your freezers, so that you don't double buy things at the grocery store, because that's just wasting money, wasting food, contributing to this clutter in the kitchen. Because the goal here, like we said, is to like not feel cramped during the holidays.
Mm-hmm. Taking inventory of what you have so you don't double buy is excellent. Taking inventory to also plan around what you already have can also like naturally declutter because you're using what you've already got. And then, so you're not double buying and you're also using what you already have. And then it's also a huge bonus is it's going to reduce your spending in a season where spending is just higher than normal.
Yeah.
Even if it's just because you're hosting Thanksgiving dinner, you know you're spending more because you got to feed a lot of people. Or, sorry, I guess we're past Thanksgiving. Christmas, whatever, New Year's, whatever else you're hosting this year.
Yeah. We've talked about this before when we have intentionally had weeks where we're meal planning and we are like using things that are in the back of the pantry, or like, look, I got 5 cans of beans. We are mixing up beans in every recipe this week to try and figure it out. And it really does save so much. I know that like prices have changed since then, but I think it was 2 years ago that we did our like pantry clean out episode. And we talked about how like after the fact that we like had such like a light grocery shopping week or maybe 2 weeks, because it was like, oh yeah, I have all these things in the pantry. I'm just going to, it kind of like sparks meal inspiration too of like, oh yeah, we got these lasagna noodles. Let's make some lasagna, whatever, random things you have.
Meal planning from my pantry often makes, it kind of like hands me on a silver platter some meal planning ideas too.
Yeah.
And, I'm not saying like just cook from your pantry. We've talked about that. But cooking from your pantry and then knowing like, well, I just need to add some Italian sausage, or I just need to add some canned tomatoes to this chili. And even you know those few ingredients that you need to buy, but seeing what you already have can kind of give you some inspiration. Because I think that around this time of year, when we're cooking so much and baking so much, like dinner tomorrow night just feels like more of a burden because you're already doing so much of it. And so when like that meal planning is just like kind of handed to you, oh, I can make that perfect. Oh, we got a box of mac and cheese in the back. Let's make whatever you got going on in there.
Yeah. And this could be a good time to do the idea that I think you mentioned in the last episode that we got from Mackenzie kappa, which is, sorting things in your pantry or in your cupboards together. So it's like you realize like, oh, I have all these things that are going to be to make chili and I just need to buy the ground beef to go with it. Like that can be part of this decluttering, is reorganizing into a way that makes more sense, so that putting the meal together is a lot faster when you go to actually
Oh, yeah.
start cooking.
Yeah. Again, another way to reduce like that burden of kind of cooking dinner on a Tuesday when,
Exactly.
you've got a holiday coming up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Similar to the pantry, another area where you can very easily meal plan from. You guys know what I'm about to say. It's your freezer. I'm a broken record. Hello. Yeah, but planning a freezer clean out week or a day each week this month is going to allow you to, again, reduce your spending at the grocery store. Maybe give yourself a break from cooking many nights if you have things in your freezer. Like, I know I do. I've got some frozen chicken that's pre-cooked. I've got some soup. I've got chili, like these things in there that are going to make for a really nice dinner that I didn't have to cook. But it also cleans out my freezer. So it's like simultaneously doing both of those things. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think this is great too, to make a little extra room in your freezer if you're
Yeah.
somebody who likes to, somebody gives you a bunch of cookies or something and you're like, we're not going to eat 17 dozen cookies right now.
Yeah.
And so maybe you like put them in a freezer bag, keep them in the freezer, and then, you're able to enjoy cookies at other times of the year. Or like every time that I go to a big holiday meal at my parents' house, they always send me home with leftovers. And so it's like either you get sent home with leftovers from somebody, or you're the one who hosted the meal and you end up with a lot of leftovers. Maybe you're not feeling the honey baked ham for weeks on end. And so you just put it in the freezer
Yeah.
and, then you're able to enjoy it again later. So there's an aspect of it too, where it's like you are decluttering to make room for some other things that might come up during this time of year too.
Absolutely. It's a great point that you make the space in the freezer for other things, because this is actually how my mom usually handles when all of her kids and grandkids come home. In the weeks leading up to our arrival, she'll actually prep a lot of the food beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Like either just like I'm thinking of a few things like a shepherd's pie or like this Italian pasta she always makes, or these like Salisbury steak. There's like these like Tex-Mex Salisbury steaks she always makes. There's a lot of fresh components, but the patties or the meat patties she always makes and freezes ahead of time. And it allows her to do less work when we're all there because she's already done it. So then it's just all in her freezer. So that's just another idea for how you can like make the space.
Right.
And then use the space.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And to piggyback off of that is if you are trying to declutter, you could be decluttering your cupboards as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to encourage everybody to throw things away. Or you can donate things, right? Like it tossed the expired food, but maybe donate things that are unopened to a local food bank, things that you're never going to use. This is the time to get rid of that protein pasta, that was on sale at Costco and you bought 5 boxes of it because it was on sale, and then you ate 1 box and you were like, ew, I don't like it.
Right. Yeah. Another option that some areas have is like schools will collect canned goods and dry goods, things that aren't going to expire, and give it actually to the students and families in their schools. So giving it to a food bank is a great option. Check at your children's school or schools in your area, because they might be collecting those things, especially for kids who go home over Christmas break and maybe the food resources at home are very low. It's a great way to like provide for those kids in that off season.
I love that. That's a really good idea.
Yeah. A lot of kids get free lunch and sometimes even free breakfast at school.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they go home for the holiday, or like not home, but like when they're at home full time over the holidays or summer, just food can be more scarce in some homes. And so I think it's a really cool thing that some schools do.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I like that. So also related to this is go through your refrigerator, look through those shelves in your refrigerator. There might be some condiments in there that are old and need to be gotten rid of, tossed out.
Kind of like the protein pasta. You opened it, didn't like it, and kept it for some reason.
Yeah, like my husband likes deli yellow mustard, right? But I like more like Dijon mustard or honey mustard. Or like spicy mustard, something. He'll eat those things every once in a while, like if I have bratwurst or something. But inevitably, we end up with like 7 different
Oh,
mustards in our refrigerator. And at some point, I just have to be like, look, this needs to be simpler. We need to just have like 2 or 3 mustards. We need a yellow and we need a honey mustard. That's all we need right now.
ours is hot sauce.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Our hot sauce collection is excessive. It's like takes up a whole part of our door. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I
Well,
like hot sauce, but this
yeah,
is crazy.
right. But sometimes you get to the situation where everything just has like a half an inch of it
Totally.
of sauce or something left at the bottom, but then you can't fit any new condiments or like another jug of milk or something
Yeah.
in the door. And it's like you just have to get rid of things sometimes. Make it easier instead of like
Yes.
trying to play this dumb Tetris game of getting things in the refrigerator.
Absolutely. Yeah. Another place in our fridge that kind of can collect is the very back wall. Because things go in front, like we should be doing a FIFO situation, first in, first out. But yes, things get pushed to the back. Inevitably, it's things that I use for recipes like olives, pepperoncini peppers, jalapeno, like pickled jalapenos. What's another one? Sun-dried tomatoes. Like things that are jarred that I used half of or a fourth of. And then, I'm like, I'm just going to put those back there and I'll use them when I need them. And then they're back there for a little too long.
Yeah, that happens to me with pesto.
Oh, pesto, yeah.
And it's like moldy every time I go to use it again.
Yeah.
I'm
You
like,
can
oh
freeze
no,
pesto.
I know you can. I just don't ever do it. But I'm always like, I'm like, oh yeah, I have a half a jar of pesto. Let's make this pesto chicken, whatever. And then I go to open the jar and I'm like, oh, it's moldy.
Yeah, that is such a bummer. I hate when that happens.
So this is your PSA to go through them now.
Yeah. Okay, the next place is your spice cabinet. Make sure you don't have 3-year-old nutmeg because it won't be as good.
It's not going to make your cookies taste great. No.
No, the flavor, specifically of some those warming spices can really diminish over time. And so making sure you have fresh ones is actually more beneficial than you might realize. Like if your mom or grandma makes those ginger cookies and every year you're like, I have to make those and yours are never as good. It could be because your spices are expired.
Yeah. My stepmom does like a cookie baking, Christmas cookie baking day every year. So I think it was 2 years ago. She was like, man, like the sugar cookies just like didn't turn out as good. And it's my grandma's sugar cookie recipe. And there is some nutmeg in the sugar cookies. It's like secret ingredient kind of thing. I think maybe whole sugar cookies have nutmeg in them. I don't know. Anyways, 2 years ago, the cookies didn't turn out very well. And so last year, my stepmom realized like, oh, my nutmeg was like 4 years old. And that was why they didn't turn out well, is because it had none of that flavor in the cookie. So,
yeah. And this is something I feel like that's like okay, I don't bake very often.
Yeah, me neither.
And I feel like for a lot of people who are low bakers like me and you, we use them only once a year. So it's not like we like used it up,
Yeah.
It does feel wasteful to throw it away, but if you want it to taste good, definitely need to check the date.
It almost feels like we need to make like a spice co-op.
Oh, I like that.
I mean, you and I live so close to each other now. We
Yeah.
should just share spices for the holidays.
I like that. That's a really good idea. I mean, I use nutmeg about 3 times a year, and it's like one recipe calls for a sprinkle of nutmeg. A sprinkle. Like,
Yeah.
it feels worthless, but it really does add to the recipe, so you want it.
It's true.
Yeah. A spice co-op is a good idea. There is a spice shop in town that you can get like measured amounts from.
Right.
And so a lot of places, if you have like a local spice shop, you don't have to go and buy, like the whole 4-ounce jar or however 1.8-ounce jar that lasts you for 7 years. You can go get a smaller amount from some places, which is helpful.
Yeah.
Similar to the spice cabinet, my baking cabinet, because this is what we're talking about, I don't bake very often, is a huge culprit for expired and old items. I use this cabinet the least. But there's a few things in there I use all the time. But anyway, so that's a cabinet I really need to go through and clean out. And it's all ready for the 3 times I bake in December.
Baking powder is really similar to spices. Like baking powder loses its potency. And so if you're using baking powder in a recipe and it's supposed to be the leavener and the thing falls flat, your baking powder could be too old.
Yeah. Also yeast. Yeast is also one you definitely want to check the date on.
Yeah.
I was going through my cabinet recently to see if I had any yeast in date, and I did not. I had 4 that were out of date. So I chunked those, but chunked them. I did. I chunked them.
Chunked them. I love it.
But that's another one you definitely need to check. There are certainly some things that I am not worried about. A lot of expired, like canned goods, I'm way less worried about. But
Yeah,
like yeast isn't going to work.
right.
It's just not going to do its job.
That's
So
right. Yeah. All right. Some other things you could chunk would be if you have Tupperware lids that don't go with any of your Tupperwares. This, I think for most people, the Tupperware section of their cabinets is like the bane of their existence. It's like everything is just shoved in and you just, pull everything out to try and find a lid and a matching container. It's a miracle when it all happens right at the same time. It doesn't take you 12 minutes to do it. So this could be a great time to go through and organize your Tupperware or your glassware, particularly if you're somebody who does give cookies or other goodies to people during the holidays and you want to use your Tupperware for it. So go make sure that things have matching lids. If there's a container without a lid or a lid without a container, just toss it. You don't need it. It's taking up unnecessary space.
I am really feeling the toss it and chunk it situation right now in my home. I am like, get rid of it. As I have been doing this left and right, and it feels so good. So if you aren't accustomed to just tossing stuff, try it out. You'll love it.
There's freedom. There's freedom in it. I'm a tosser and a
Mm.
chunker. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
chucker, not a chunker, but
Oh, you are a chucker, yeah.
I'm a chucker. I chuck things out.
I
And
chunk them out.
yeah. And it's very freeing. I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And I mean, you and I just like feel like I need to say this, but like you and I we want to be low waste. We want people to not be throwing away their groceries. The whole idea around meal planning is that you waste less food. You use what you have.
Yep.
But it accumulates. And it accumulates even in the Tupperware in the Tupperware oblivion. What do you call that? Tupperware cabinet. That's just like, what? You know what I'm talking about? Like you don't even want to open the cabinet because it's so bad.
Well, yeah. And half of the time you open the cabinet and like 7 things fall on you.
Yeah, and then you just want to shut it. Just like
Yeah.
shove it in, shut the door. Yeah.
Or just like chuck the things across the room. Like,
yeah, chunk them across the room. A couple of years ago, there were like the glass Tupperware lid containers that we use already.
mm-hmm.
They were on sale at Costco for like a ridiculously good price. So I bought a second set.
Yeah.
And I have not opened it on purpose because I was like waiting for like when it was time to like move new stuff in. I think that time is now. I'm going to get rid of the plastic ones and the pieces and parts that don't go together. And I'm going to like move all the new ones in. It's going to feel so good.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Really, we want to encourage you to do all of this so that you can declutter with your January self in mind, your New Year's self, so that you can make space now and you're not starting the new year with all of last year's junk and clutter in your kitchen. Because as we're always saying, like your future self is going to thank you for this. You're going to be so grateful when the new year rolls around and you're like, oh my gosh, look at the Tupperware. They're all organized. And I don't have 17 bottles of clove in the spice cabinet.
And only one of them's in date.
Yeah.
Yes, you and I love this idea. We love doing things that our future self will be grateful for. So do this now and your holidays will be like feel more free and January will feel easy peasy.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, that was our quick decluttering message for today. And now it's time to move on to some more dinner dilemmas.
I can't wait.
First dinner dilemma is from Lynn. She says, how to maintain an inventory of pantry and freezer items. This feels very apropos.
It's perfect for this episode. Well, as you may or may not know, Clean Eat has a freezer feature. This feature is awesome. You add a meal to your meal plan. Maybe you are going to immediately freeze it. All you do is click on it on your meal plan and click add to freezer. If you don't eat everything, you can also just click add to freezer and add what's left over. There's an option to add the amount of servings for a recipe and how many meals it makes. So let's just say you made a lasagna and it is going to serve you for 2 meals at 4 servings each. That's how you're going to enter it into your freezer. The Plain to Eat freezer is awesome. If it's a recipe in your Plain to Eat recipe book, it can be a recipe in your freezer. And then once you want to go use that recipe, all you do is click on the freezer and you drag and drop it to your meal plan. And then it like removes it from your freezer. So it's keeping that inventory for your freezer specifically as you go.
Yep. And then for pantry inventory or other kitchen inventory, we generally recommend using your staples list for that. So
Yeah.
staples list is kind of like an auxiliary list to your shopping list. It's like a static list where you can add your frequently purchased items, or you can use it as an inventory. And then it's really easy to scan. You can add things to your shopping list in bulk from the staples list. So what you would do is fill up your staples list with all the items that you already have at home or that you keep an inventory of. And then when you run out of anything, you can just go over to your staples list and quickly add it over to your shopping list. So there's nothing automated with it. It's not like you run out of your ground nutmeg and it gets added to your shopping list, or you buy nutmeg and it gets added to your staples list. Like there is a manual aspect of it, but it allows you to really quickly see the things that you have on hand or the things that you normally keep on hand so you can be reminded to buy them the next time you go to the grocery store.
If you're wondering why Planty doesn't automatically do this, we used to have a feature called the pantry. And if your item was in your pantry, then it would automatically remove that item from your shopping list. But it required some like serious maintenance of the pantry.
Mhm.
And if you were not diligent to maintain your pantry, then you were going to the grocery store and having a hot mess experience and not getting what you need. So we actually just completely removed that feature because of how much it required of our customers to like kind of keep an eye on their pantry. And instead, now we just recommend that you shop your pantry with your grocery list and remove the things from your grocery list that you already have on hand. And that process is much more streamlined than keeping a digital list of your pantry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about this in previous episodes related to inventory. So if you don't want to use Planty for these things, you could also do something of keeping a list that you tape to the outside of your freezer. Like if you're somebody who has multiple freezers or multiple refrigerators, you could keep a list on the outside of that fridge or freezer to remind yourself of the inventory that you have in there, or like a whiteboard that you could write on, and then you could
Yeah.
easily remove things or add things to it. So if you're not looking to do it in a digital way, there's also ways that you could do it that are a little more manual like that. I think the whiteboard is probably the best
Yeah.
option for that because it's just so easy to add and remove stuff.
Yeah. For sure. And then you can just keep that pin right there, like a printed list. We're going to go print another list. Or,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think the whiteboard's probably one of my favorite ideas for this.
Yeah.
Hopefully that helps. Next up, we have Katie, and she says, I've been under a kitchen renovation for 5 months. No sink, no dishwasher, no kitchen cabinets, no kitchen. I'm falling to frozen prepared foods due to lack of inspiration and frustration of the mess at home.
Wow. I'll be honest. I have had many home renovations at my house, but none of them have really involved the kitchen being like inoperable for a long period of time. That was the one place in our last house that I told my husband, like, look, I know our kitchen needs some work, but like this is a pretty important part of the house. I wish that we would have known about your renovation before it happened. Because I feel like
Yeah.
I have better tips for, a kitchen renovation is happening rather than we are in the middle of a kitchen renovation. A lot of
Yeah.
that being make a bunch of freezer meals, invest in something like an air fryer or an instant pot. I mean, that an air fryer and instant pot could still be something that Katie could utilize right now, is like find a kitchen gadget that makes cooking and prepping really simple, really easy, doesn't take up very much space. You're not using the stove. You don't need that kind of stuff. There's even new crock pots nowadays that have like saute features and stuff on them. Like there's a lot of these kitchen gadgets that can do a lot of the things you would normally want like an oven or a stove for.
The downside is that she doesn't have a sink.
Yes. Well, not a kitchen sink.
I assume she has a sink somewhere to wash something.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I know that that's kind of weird and gross, but like if you don't have a kitchen, then you're going to have to wash anything like in the bathroom
Mm-hmm.
sink,
Yeah. Yeah. This is a tricky one. She doesn't mention no oven.
I mean, she says no kitchen.
Yeah, she does. Okay. Katie, we're with you. This is a hard one.
This is a super hard one.
I mean, I guess I have a couple of thoughts that might not be ideal, but are options. If you live near family or if you live near a really good friend and you said, can I come to your house? And can I prepare myself? Maybe you do this once a month.
Mm-hmm.
You say, once a month, can I come to your house? Use your kitchen, prep all of our meals, put them in the freezer, So that even though you're falling to freezer prepared food, it's it's food you prepared.
Right.
And then you can supplement those frozen meals with a steamer bag of veggies or a side salad that's come, like a bagged salad. But if you have just like a really good friend or a family member who would let you use their kitchen and then you just go to town, then you know that the food you're making is food that you made and you've got yourself covered for dinners that month.
For sure.
Yeah,
I
because
think
I
that's a
feel like
really good
dinner's the
idea.
hardest with no oven. The other ones you can come up with, or not no oven, but no kitchen.
Right.
The other ones you can definitely like think anything you'd make while camping.
Yeah, totally.
For breakfast or lunch.
You might be super tired of eating yogurt for breakfast after your kitchen renovation is over, but like you didn't have to cook it, you know?
Yeah, even like hot water and oatmeal, like I feel like you could probably come up with that pretty easy.
For sure.
You could, I don't know.
Yeah.
Even if you were going to somebody else's house, like boil 20 eggs and you have those and you got boiled eggs for breakfast. Or even freezer sandwiches, freezer breakfast burritos, like you can make all those so easy.
Definitely. I think an alternative to that, or maybe in addition to that, is cooking outside, using your grill or your smoker, and just having I think the main tip here is to have really simple meals. Like
Yeah,
you said,
totally.
like a bagged salad. Like what if it's just like grilled chicken and a bagged salad?
Yeah, it's great.
And like I said, I feel like you might fall back on recipes that you end up being really tired of after the kitchen renovation is over, but that's okay. You got a whole brand new kitchen. You're going to want to cook everything else.
Totally. Yeah, that's a good idea. I love your going to outside. Hopefully that's reasonable. I mean, I feel like I grill all year, and I live in Colorado where we get tons of snow, and I grill the whole year. So
yeah,
I do feel like it's reasonable to be able to like throw something on the smoker or the grill, even like if you did it once a week, like we've talked about a lot, like a meal prep batch cooking situation. I mean, there's a lot of great options for microwavable rice or like instant simple rice that you can make, and then a lot of veggies that you don't have to cook.
right.
Yeah. And then just rotate marinades, rotate proteins, like rotate those things. And yeah.
Yeah. Well, Katie sent us this dilemma quite a while ago. So, Katie, I hope at this point your renovation is done and you're enjoying your new kitchen.
And I'm so sorry that we are just now getting to these last.
I know.
Dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Lisa, who titles herself as Exhausted Single Mom of Two. She says, in particular, how to meal plan for a toddler and ensure exposure to new foods, especially vegetables, without wasting a ton of food. It's just me and him eating in the house. Falling off plan is a biggie. The biggest barrier for me is just being exhausted after work. I'm a single mom of choice of a 2-year-old and of a 3-year-old and a 2-month-old. I need to figure out how to plan for quick, easy meals that are toddler friendly, but also continue to expose him to new foods. Ideally, I'd like to have a 3 to 4 week plan that I can modify if I need, but is just kind of our set plan. Overspending is an issue, but I think it can be resolved if I address the issue above. Well,
this is a great question.
This is a great question. And I actually think that Lisa sort of answered her own question here a little bit, was to create a 3 to 4 week meal plan, like create a menu and plan to eat that she can then drag and drop onto her planner and then modify as needed. I think that's a great idea.
Totally. Especially to being mom of 3 and a 2-month-old, like that's going to save her so much time, so much energy.
Yeah.
And I feel like she's going to be the only one who really remembers,
Absolutely.
Like, oh, we had this exactly 3 weeks ago. Well, okay, I hardly remember, but like my 3-year-old and 2-month-old certainly aren't,
Right.
So so just in regards to toddlers and ensuring exposure to new foods, this is such a great like place to start. It like with this idea, like this mentality, right? Because exposing your kids to foods at this young of an age really helps them to be not picky and just like having the mentality of like, I'm going to expose them to foods all the time. I would say look up Katie Kimball. She just changed the name of her company, Ronnie. What is it called now?
RaisingHealthyFamilies.com.
RaisingHealthyFamilies.com. She's an incredible resource for preventing and combating picky eating. In addition, I just looked up on Instagram. There's several accounts that we follow. Toddler Dietitian Tiff, Yummy Toddler Food, Feeding Tiny Bellies, Real Little Meals, and Busy Toddler. All of those are accounts that we follow on Instagram, and they are always sharing delicious looking, simple recipes where they're like embedding vegetables into things that you would never know.
Yeah.
Not that we're always trying to hide vegetables when it comes to kids, but making sure that they're getting that nutrition. Sometimes we do hide it, right? Sometimes we make sure that it's hidden. But those are awesome resources. They're always sharing really good recipes. A lot of low sugar, high protein, high veggie meals that all look really good. And that's another really good option. I feel like just for like getting some good ideas. Because sometimes as an adult, it's hard to know like what like can my toddler even chew this? Well, no, Brussels sprouts are really hard to chew as an adult,
Yeah.
like, but it's hard to think that way. And so kind of coming up with a different way to serve something to your kid, all those are really great resources.
Absolutely. Just something that I was thinking about related to wasting food is like maybe you try a different vegetable every week, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe this week it's like roasted broccoli. And if they don't eat roasted broccoli on Monday, it goes on their plate again on Tuesday. This was kind of some of the things we learned from Katie Kimball, especially
Mhm.
like the exposure of it. And so it's like maybe if it's on their plate like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but it's just, maybe you're reheating your same roasted broccoli instead of throwing it out when they don't eat
Yeah.
it. I think maybe that could help with the wasting. So you're not like, we have green beans, we have broccoli, we have Brussels sprouts, and we're trying, and we have carrots, and we're trying everything. Like it's like maybe it's just like one at a time,
Mhm.
and then you move on to something else.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like number one, she's trying to save time
Yeah.
because she's busy and exhausted at the end of the day, and number two, she doesn't want to waste food. So like maybe like pulling back a little bit and trying to just do a little bit less.
Yeah. And then meal prepping it certainly reduces time. The idea that I'm thinking might add a little time, but it also is a way to like repurpose those ingredients without serving it the exact same way. Because sometimes like that's the way, I'm thinking about with my
Yeah.
kids. For the longest time, they would not eat broccoli. And then I was like, it's little trees. And they're like, oh, they're excited about little trees. But then if like I chopped it and put it like with like, broccoli and cheese and like an egg muffin cup or something, like
Mm-hmm.
they would eat it that way. And over time, they eventually began to like it. So if you did choose one vegetable per week, maybe you cook it and then it's roasted broccoli Monday. Tuesday, it's broccoli cheddar soup. Wednesday, it's broccoli cheddar egg muffins. And you're kind of using
Mm-hmm.
that one roasted ingredient multiple ways. It might be a way to introduce it and just like use it up, like you said, and pretty simple if it's already pre-done. So
Yeah, that's a good idea.
like be the biggest barrier being exhausted after work. We all feel that, and man, so many of our dinner dilemmas have been related to this issue. So hopefully you've been like tuning in to a lot of these episodes because I know you and I feel redundant because we give a lot of the same advice. Your idea of having that meal plan is a great idea. I would say make sure that you're meal planning around your schedule and looking and
Mm-hmm.
saying, like, our weeks, Monday through Friday, it has to be easy. Saturday, I can cook something more complicated. And then within that 3 to 4 week meal plan, that's how you're focusing those 3, 4 weeks, making sure they're 15-minute dinners or like it feels like Tetris. But once
Mm-hmm.
you've got that 3 to 4 week meal plan made, you're going to be a lot more on autopilot.
Yeah.
And all those dinners are going to get easier the more you cook them.
Right. And it could be a good way to frame it from the like template standpoint, when we've
Mhm.
talked about this before, but it's like every Monday is crazy. So every Monday has to be a crock pot meal that
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
that I start before I leave for work kind of a thing. And so you could create a meal planning template for that. So that way when you're feeling exhausted about meal planning, you can just go, okay, all I have to do is find a crock pot meal. All I have to do is find, 15-minute air fryer meal and on and on. All right, that wraps us up for this week. There is only one more episode left for the end of the year, and we're gonna go heavy on the dinner dilemmas on that episode. We're still not gonna finish them, unfortunately, but we have really enjoyed answering these, and we hope you guys have found it really helpful. So hopefully you take some of our decluttering tips and make your holiday season just a little less stressful with that. As always, thank you so much for listening, and we will talk to you again in 2 weeks.